Okay, I'm going to quickly take you through the toolkit that we've been developing, and Laura's just going to upload it. We do have a little bit of cushion. I left 15 minutes for closing, which I don't think I need. It was specifically done so that if we overrun, we can accommodate that. So I just need about 5 minutes to take this through. Thank you, Laura. Yes. So essentially, when we started the project, there was this objective that we want to not just have a report or journal papers, but keep the legacy of the project in some other way alive. And that's been not just because of me or others. Karen, Joe, Ruth. That time we had been discussing about toolkits, and I think what we've come to understand is that it's got to be interactive and it's got to be web based. And it's got to be open source and accessible, and it's not just sharing learning amongst the communities we worked with, but probably much more widely with other stakeholders who are interested broadly in energy in communities, not just nationally but internationally. And I think that's quite important as well. We have organized it or tried to organize it, in a range of outputs. So, in terms of tools, case studies, reports, working papers, to further this understanding about evaluation and comparability as well. Interestingly, this was developed through the round 3 focus group participants. So some of the feedback that we had on the themes and sub-themes that would go into the toolkit were almost discussed with the communities at the third round of focus groups. And we asked them to highlight their top 3 sub-themes, for instance, what kind of key things they would want to see. And it's quite important to say, they wanted a visual, common sense approach, ability to download, hard copies, keep them simple, mix of summaries and reports, depending upon, what people want. And our key themes that have come up, from the project findings, from talking to communities, and also what we think would be of value to the wider community of practice in this area is one, roles and strategies of community projects, community engagement techniques and, what we've discovered, understanding energy behaviors, home energy improvements, energy feedback approaches, and monitoring and evaluation more broadly. So we've organized these sub-themes organized these themes, 6 themes into various sub-themes. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but they broadly cover what we've been talking about in different kinds of outputs. Our outputs are broadly of 4 kinds in the toolkit. One is a summary, so it's a briefing or summary which will give you an overview, almost 4 pages or less. Tools, so specific things about a questionnaire that somebody could use. So we've put almost all our methodological approaches or advances into public domain. Case study, so knowing about, let's say, a community event that was done. How much did it cost in terms of resource, in terms of time and other things, or a thermal imaging report on cavity wall insulated houses, and then a detailed technical report for somebody who wants to get into the detail of it. So it was a challenge in bringing them together because the outputs were either community specific, so things that were happening in Easterside or Blacon or Oxford, cross community, so or household specific or cross household as well, where you're looking at more than one kind of household. But then also cross cutting, where it goes around this 2x2 matrix, and we have tried to bring it together into this web-based approach, which I'm going to attempt to show you, which is why I'm pausing a bit. And it's called the Enact Toolkit that we have now here. We will have a kind of a phased approach for it. So we are not going to just release it as is because there's some work to be done, but it will be released in phases. Some of the things are already there. So if you access the Evaloc website, you will see the Enact Toolkit. You can click on it, and I'm told there is a password, which I hopefully know what it is. I do. Good. So essentially, you see the final report, although the final report can be downloaded from today from the publication section of the website. You can also navigate by community. So if you click on one of the communities, let's say Eco Easterside, it will ask for a password at this stage, just because we want to first run through some of the outputs with the community. But hopefully, if I can remember which one it was, I can show you. So I'll pick up Easterside, and Okay, so you can we haven't still released the findings report per community. That's in development, but you can, for instance, see thermal imaging work, carbon mapping work, the eco play that was done. So that should be leading to a downloadable item. So we have put the learnings, insights into public domain here. And I think I would say, I'm grateful to, all the researchers, Joe, Ruth, Laura, particularly, who've actually helped in really, taking the next step. Usually projects stop at final report. Many of us have done projects here in this area. And I think we've probably taken it a little further here, which I think is more valuable probably. Going back, there are other ways of navigating, which is by the theme. So you can actually click on any of these themes. And these ones, if you hover over these, will actually show you what sub-theme it's about. So you can, if somebody's interested in low carbon communities, role strategies, they could click on this. If someone is interested in performance of low carbon technologies or performance of building fabric. So if I click on this, it will show what kind of outputs are available, where this one is a report and this is a case study. So let's see if this is populated. And if you click here, you can actually be able to download, solid wall dwellings, what insights we had from the thermal imaging. And there are quite detailed reports as well. So if you click on community projects, roles and strategies, should be able to, for instance, download a tool or a case study, which is happening. So clearly it's working. So you can see it's a working paper. So in short, we think the legacy of the project is more than our learning. It's this toolkit. I know there's been interest from Energy Saving Trust and from DEC to link this with their community energy hub. So I hope this will happen as we go forward. But we will be releasing it, but in phases, just because we want to be careful that we are running all our outputs past our communities before we release them. So I think I'm going to actually stop here because I think that's enough from me. What I will suggest now is that rather than, are there questions, burning questions? Okay, then I'm going to invite the researchers to probably come to the front and take about 10 minutes of questions and then actually give it to Roy now. 10 minutes maximum, and then we have 40 minutes on the community contributions. Okay. I just need, if you give it to me at 5.